Okay, so it has been a little over a year since I quit my full-time job of almost 20 years to go full-time on YouTube, and I have been obsessing over YouTube, trying to figure out how to do this thing the right way, how to make it a full-time income. And what I've noticed lately is that there's a lot of things that I either have never done or that I no longer do when I first started all the way until now. And so in this video, I'm going to share 9 things that I never do as a full-time creator, and some of these will be just mere personal preference, while others will be things that I strongly recommend not doing. So let's jump into it. The first thing that I no longer do as a full time creator is create my title and thumbnail after filming my video. And early on, I did this all the time. If you're newer yourself, you're probably doing this too. And that is perfectly okay because the idea early on is to reduce friction. But what I have found is number one, you're going to be putting in hours into these videos. You might as well spend a lot of that time on the pre-production side to validate or give yourself the best possible chances that it's going to work by getting your title and thumbnail as best as humanly possible before you put in all this time on the video itself. So again, this is like a lesson that took me forever to finally learn it. I've only really grappled with it well over the last 6 months or so. And now with each new video, before I even think about scripting or filming or anything, I'm actually doing a lot of research. I'm writing down a half a dozen to a dozen different titles. Same thing with the thumbnail, trying to figure out the thumbnail caption. And I do this with every single video now because I just know when you don't, you're kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall and you'll spend so much time on the filming and the editing, and then you'll put in the bare minimum just before upload to figure out your title and thumbnail. And that's not the right way to do it at all. I think you're going to hear this advice endlessly, and it's only a matter of time before you start taking it seriously. So if you're hearing it now, start implementing this ASAP. It will get you further faster, I promise you. The second thing that I no longer do as a full-time YouTube creator is I don't worry about the upload process. And I can't tell you how many videos I see that are like, do these 3 settings on every upload in order to maximize your views, or if you don't, you're just gonna tank. And honestly, I feel like a lot of those videos are complete bullshit. I don't know what you guys think about them, but one thing you can do is set your upload defaults in your YouTube Studio settings so that for each upload, it's using a lot of the same settings every single time, so you don't have to think about it. Your language, your category, the links in your descriptions, like all of that stuff you can put in your upload defaults. Honestly, there's really not much you can do in your uploads that's gonna mess anything up. Pick an end card, pick a title, pick a thumbnail, make sure you obviously made those in advance, but don't spend a ton of time like min-maxing your upload settings. It's kind of wasted effort. And I think a lot of people like to harp on these things because they get a lot of views. But the truth of it is, you shouldn't spend a lot of time on the things that aren't going to move the needle all that much. Spend all that time instead researching. And that brings us to our third item. The thing that I no longer do is jam pack my descriptions with like tags and keywords and bloated links and bloated descriptions. And yeah, I did that for a long time. But what I have found is that after looking at my full 2025 earnings and trying to figure out, did any of it make a difference in terms of people clicking on my affiliate links? The answer is no, it didn't. And so there's really no point in putting all that stuff in there. The keywords and tags are irrelevant. You don't really need to even have a description in your YouTube video because your video is completely transcribed to begin with. So as long as you're talking and you're talking about a subject matter that people might be interested in, the algorithm is smart enough to know what your content is about and the intent or preferences of other viewers so that it may serve it to them. So your description, you don't really need keywords. You don't need tags. Tags are just like a vestigial organ at this point. I do like chapters because I think it's a convenience feature for the viewer. So I will still do that from time to time. But ideally, I'm not putting in a million links either. 2 to 3 links just to give the people who watch my videos an idea of how they can engage with me further if they want to. And that's pretty much it. Just like simplifying it, less is more, reduce the noise, make it simple. The fourth thing that I no longer do as a full-time creator is spread myself thin by posting on more than one platform. And I used to do this early on. I used to post on LinkedIn and on X, and I did my YouTube long form. And I see a lot of new people like they're doing like podcasts and shorts and long form, and they're on Instagram or like kind of all over the place. And yeah, that can be fun and exciting, but honestly, it's a really quick way to burn yourself out too. And on the flip side, you're also not really getting good at any one platform if you're spreading an equal amount of time on 4 different platforms. And I think there's something to be said about focusing your energy and attention on one platform and one format and getting really good at that. And then once you have some critical mass and a good audience, then you can sort of like move people into different socials and things like that. But we often see all of these people that we aspire to be like posting everywhere. They're omnipresent, and it's because they have content teams. They've got people whose jobs it is to repurpose a piece of content everywhere. And so we just don't have that as newer or solo creators. So don't burn yourself out and don't think you're going to get good at 3 platforms at the same time when it is hard enough to get good at just one platform. And that brings us to our 5th thing that I never do as a full-time creator is I don't make YouTube shorts. And some of you might be scratching your head wondering why, and this is a question I get all the time. There are 2 reasons. One is I don't think my viewers who might be buyers are watching YouTube shorts. Um, and I don't really want people subscribing to my channel if they're not interested in my long form content. So I'm not like looking to attract shorts viewers. Therefore, I don't make shorts. And I also think that long form is the best way to build trust. There's like a rule about how many minutes or hours people need to watch you, to like get to know you, to feel like they can relate to you. And the best way to do that is through long form video, right? If you make a 15-minute video, that's the equivalent of 15 1-minute shorts. And so I'd rather someone sit there and watch a 15-minute video of mine than me having to, like, just produce all this shorts content, right? And I guess I could repurpose my longs, but again, it comes back to, do I really want to attract a shorts audience? And the answer is no. The other whole side of this is just me on my soapbox, and if you disagree, let me know in the comments. I just think short form content is toxic. I think it's bad for our health, both on the individual level and society at large. I think it creates all these unrealistic expectations for how we're supposed to like live our lives, for what happiness means. And I think it makes us addicted to screens, and it also makes us impatient and unable to delay gratification. And I think it just makes us like, I don't know, like less content individuals. And that's not a healthy sign. This is all speculation. I have no data to back any of this up, but I just think it's toxic. And I hope there's like some solid science that comes out and says this is like ruining our health. Like I feel like it's like cigarettes in a way. Maybe that's a hot take. Agree or disagree. I don't really care. The 6th thing that I no longer do as a full-time creator is think about multiple income streams. And I've definitely talked about this on my channel, but the more I dig in and the more I try to focus my time, the more I realize, especially for smaller channels, trying to do like merch and affiliates and fan funding and AdSense and memberships and like a community sponsorship, like trying to do everything at once means you're going to do all of it poorly or at best mediocre. Like you're not going to really be great at any one of those things. Plus, you need so much scale. You need so many views, so many people to see your stuff, only to, for people to click. So I've again coming back to this idea of simplification, less is more, and just reducing the noise. I have just decided to focus on my high ticket coaching, and that's pretty much it. Because I think if I can do that well enough, that's going to move the needle much more quickly, much further than really anything else that I could be focusing my time on. The 7th thing that I no longer do as a full time creator is sacrifice quality of my videos to hit some sort of arbitrary upload schedule. And this was absolutely me for a long time. I was posting 2 videos a week for about 7 months. And then I kind of pulled it back and I was doing 1 video a week. And now I'm at a point where I'm 1 video every 10 days. And while I'm not completely happy about that, I'd rather be at one per week. I am spending a lot of time intentionally on the writing side of things because I really want to develop that skill as a YouTuber because writing is just so important for really everything. But I'm giving myself this grace and this season to spend a lot of time on the writing and posting less in the hopes that the videos I do post are more impactful. And I think, again, like less is more, right? And if you're more intentional and you're going deeper, then you can, in essence, potentially reach more viewers and have a deeper impact. And that's kind of what I'm going for. But ultimately, I think a lot of people are doing like we're trying to stay consistent for consistency's sake without the intention or like the thought about how to make the thing better. And that can only get you so far, I maintain. I think you really need to like step back, zoom out, ask yourself, how do I actually improve this thing? Other than just posting more, how do I actually improve it? So if you're out there and you're posting a lot and you're not seeing any traction, my advice to you is this: slow down, post less, but post better. Okay, the eighth thing, and this is going to be a smaller one that I no longer do as a full time creator, is spend any time responding to negative comments. And early on, I did this. I would try to be nice to people and try to figure out what the real core of their feedback was. But what I found is that some people just don't want to be reasoned with. They don't want to have a discussion. They just want to kind of take a crap on you. And those people are a waste of your time. And for me, and I don't know if you guys experience this, but sometimes, every now and then, a particularly nasty comment might get stuck in my head. And I'll be like doing something completely random, like taking a shower or just before I fall asleep at night. That comment will pop into my mind. And I'll find myself in like this weird argument with the commenter in my head. Like, what would I say to them if I actually could talk to them? And I just realized what a giant waste of time that is. So now what I do when I see a comment like that, I just hide that person from my channel. And that makes it so I can't even see their comment anymore. So even if I did want to go back and respond, it's not there. I can't see it. So therefore, I don't have this like mental exercise happening anymore, kind of like putting me in a bad mood or just like chewing up unnecessary time. So I no longer respond to negative comments. And the ninth thing that I no longer do, or actually, I've never done this because I've never been good at it, is I don't ask people to like or subscribe. And maybe I should. I don't know. Do you guys do this? I feel like I've just never developed the talk track to do it. And I never remember to do it. I never write it into my scripts. I'm always trying to write in calls to action for like my lead magnet or my coaching offer or to watch the next video. And I also don't want to like, I don't know, maybe this is the wrong way to think about it. I just don't want to coerce people. I just don't want people to like have to be reminded. I kind of want to have like create such a great experience that they just feel compelled to want to, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So I don't know, it's just like a weird quirk of mine, but I'd be curious to know your thoughts if you guys are in the habit of asking people to like and subscribe on your videos. I guess I do ask people to comment. That's not engagement farming, is it? I'm genuinely interested in what people think, but yeah, tell me if you ask people to like and subscribe. Be genuinely curious to know. So that's it. That's the 9 things that I could think of I no longer do or I've never actually done now that I'm a full-time creator. And if you want my like full philosophy, everything that I've learned over the last 100 videos, I did make a full deep dive on that. You can watch it right over here, and I'll see you over there.